Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video during JMA Friday for today's second video. So as always on a Friday, we're having a look at the weather for the month ahead with Japanese and the CFS beach models, and I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just to say, that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. Got a 10 to 14 day coming later on this afternoon. That was enough. We got the EC42 day today. That's normally released on Saturday morning, but actually it's going to be released at 7 PM this evening. Reason for that is that we've got the second winter 2023-24 season model roundup coming up for you tomorrow morning, and if all of this wasn't enough, we're going to be live streaming at 10 PM. So I'm writing a gaslighted conveyor belt today. 1, 2, 3, 4, just churning them out. So if you're enjoying our content, then please do like, share, subscribe, give us a thumbs up on the vids, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. Right, well, let's crack on with JMA Friday then, shall we? So we're going to begin with the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly from the Arctic and the North Pole view down. So this is the North Pole just here, got the wider Arctic circle around there, and then the mid-latitudes are through here. Blue is extrapolating to below average height, which is low pressure. Yellow, orange and red to above average heights, which is high pressure. These are broken down to weekly periods. The first weekly period takes us from today, the 27th of October, through to the 3rd of November. And the coming week looks very unsettled. Deep low pressure in the Atlantic into West Europe. There's a bit of a blocking single way to the north as well, but the main thing is just really unsettled. Deep low pressure bringing lots of wind and rain and whatnot in from off the Atlantic. So a very unsettled week to start off. And it goes on to week 2 as well, which is the 10th of November, still with lots of low pressure in the ascension from the Atlantic into West Europe. So all looking pretty wild there for weeks 1 and 2, and still looking pretty unsettled, I have to say, for weeks 3 and 4 too. This is the 10th to the 24th of November. There's still a lot of low pressure in the Atlantic, not quite as deep because it's a 2-weekly anomaly and it's further out, and we have got a little bit of high pressure down towards Spain as well. But I think really it's still low pressure driving the weather here. It remains very unsettled with that, and perhaps a bit milder with this high pressure down towards Spain. We might get a little bit more of a southwesterly component to the wind, but essentially the main thing is unsettled weather goes on even into the second half of November. So this is the tropical and mid-latitude view, UK and Ireland, top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. Reminder of week 1 500 millibar height anomaly from the 27th of October to 3rd of November. And deep blues in from the Atlantic into Western Europe. So again, very unsettled week to come. Very, very Atlantic driven. The temperature anomaly in the week ahead is near normal in the south and a little bit below average actually in the north, and the precipitation anomaly, whoops, gone past it, is wetter than average. Not surprised with so much low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic. So a cool and wet week to start us off. Week 2 keeps the unsettled weather going. Again, low pressure is in from off the Atlantic into West Europe. The temperature anomaly, again, remains a little bit below average for Scotland, nearer normal elsewhere. And again, not surprisingly, given the 500 millibar heights, it's another wet week to come as well. So that gets us from the 3rd to the 10th of November, and then weeks 3 and 4 will be the 10th to the 24th of November, still with plenty of low pressure in the Atlantic. That's some higher pressure down towards Spain. Temperature anomaly maybe lifts up a little bit as we go through the middle part of November, especially in the north, and it's still wetter than average. It's a very wet November to come if this is right, rounding off what has been a very unsettled and wet autumn as well. So, oh yeah, here we go. GavsWeatherVids autumn forecast verifying very unsettled with the JMA today. Let's see how CFS B2 compares. Again, these are 500 millibar high times broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 27th of October, the 2nd of November. So this next week, perfect agreement between the two models actually. Deep low pressure from the Atlantic into Western Europe. We have got some blocking up to the north as well. Maybe a little bit strong with that blocking of high pressure with the CFS compared to JMA, although it might just be the projection of the map, I suppose. But again, the main thing is the low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic, looking really unsettled for Week 1. Week 2 is the 3rd to the 9th of November. That also with deep low pressure below average heights from the Atlantic into northern and western Europe as well. So again, good agreement there. That's week 3, which is going to be the 10th to the 16th of November. That one also looks very unsettled. Again, big trough of low pressure dominating from the Atlantic into northwestern parts of Europe. And then week 4 is going to be the 17th 23rd of November. So low pressure more towards Scandinavia. Maybe it's going to be colder. We've got high pressure up towards Greenland. Low pressure is down here. Now, there could be a mid-Atlantic ridge sort of going on here that's breaking the areas of low pressure into two troughs. If that is happening, then we will begin to pull down a colder northerly. The complicating factor to that is high pressure down towards Spain, although it is actually more towards North Africa, actually. But that high pressure is going to try and bring the wind up from the southwest. But it's possible that's going a bit colder. It might go a little bit drier as well, but might be going a little bit colder there for week 4. But, as it's 4 weeks away, it's a very, very long way out in any case. Right, temperature anomalies then. With CFS week 1, 27th of October, 2nd of November, a little bit above ours. So a bit of a disagreement there between the JMA and the CFS, because the CFS is the milder of the two. However, week 2 does go colder than average. This is the 3rd to the 9th of November. Below average temperatures then across the UK and Ireland. Back to closer average really for week 3, temp to the 16th of November, nearer normal temperatures then. Week 4 though looking a little bit cooler, I think. So back to 17th, 23rd of November. Overall, no signal for a particularly warm November here, you have to say, on this CFS run. And in fact, it could be a rather cool November. And very wet for week 1. This is 27th of October, 2nd of November. So above average precipitation, above average rainfall there. Week 2, again, not surprising given the 500 millibar heights that we just saw. 3rd to the 9th of November, also coming out wetter than average. Notice always wetter more towards the south as well. This is week 3. Normally by now we're losing the signal, but the 10th to 16th of November also strongly indicated to be wetter than average, telling us that it's going to be a very, very wet first half of November if this is right. By week 4, we have lost the signal. It's the 17th to the 23rd of November, and we've reverted back closer to average then. But all looking quite interesting there, I think, with the CFS. Certainly looks very unsettled. I think that's the main thing to get on the table, that we are going to be in for a continuation of the deluge through at least the first half of November, possibly even lasting into the second half of the month. And no signal for it to be overly warm as well, which is quite unusual with an Atlantic-driven pattern in November. Normally you'd expect temperatures to be above average with an Atlantic-driven pattern. The reason is that the jet stream is pushed further south of its typical position, so we kind of bring the low pressure in northwest to southeast aligned rather than southwest to northeast aligned, and so that allows for not necessarily overly cold, but a cooler variety of unsettled weather. As we progress through November, if that continues, then there will be an increasing risk of wintry conditions on the northern edge of these areas of low pressure, and that particularly in the northern half of the country. But even in the south, you wouldn't rule out, if we do eventually get a southerly tracking low, later in the month, then you wouldn't rule out perhaps a little bit of wintry weather even across more southern parts of the country later on in November. So a lot to keep an eye on for this November, and we shall see how it goes. Remember, it's just a snapshot of what these two models are showing today, but it could look completely different when we look at them again next week. And you're going to find out at 7 p.m, not going to wait till tomorrow, you're going to find out at 7 p.m. tonight, what the ECM WF42 day has got to say about all of this. Will it be in agreement with the JMA and the CFS? You'll find out a little bit later on. But before then, we've got your 10 to 14 day, so I shall see you shortly for that one. But for JMA Friday for this week, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.